Hello, and welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera. Let's keep going. I'm pretty sure we're looking for somewhere to sleep, which I think is one of the most commonly uttered phrases in this playthrough. Alright, and Maws as well. Let's talk to this ghost. Hello, ghost. At first, you're not sure if your eyes are playing tricks on you. A semi-transparent man shuffles and struts before you, his body fading into and out of incorporeality. His once fine clothes have rotted away, his long beard looks to be host to any number of small vermin, and his eye sockets are disturbingly empty. She studies the man, mentally subtracting and adding his features, and suddenly gives a sharp intake of breath. She whispers, "Can it be?" Oh good, I'm glad you're not giving us a name. Thanks, Makina. Somehow the man hones in directly on your face, and you have the unnerving feeling that he can see more than what's on the surface. The staring sockets are deep and cavernous, as if they contained depths and space beyond the confines of his skull. He says nothing to you. Makina, who is this? Tell me who this is. This is the old Numenera. Don't you see? This man knows all the secrets of the bloom. He was tied to it, bonded to it. I worked for him for years, alongside that bitch who occupies the position now. When he disappeared, she threw me out. I looked for him for a long time. She turns her attention to the bearded man. Sir? Sir, it's Matkina. You called me the White Death, remember? He doesn't, because he's been thrown into the bloom. That construct told us. Maybe not, though. Anyway. He turns his cavernous eye sockets to her, and they study her for a long time, considering. Life begins to seep into his face, and a small smile creeps across his lips. I think I remember, but memories are lost in the telling. He thinks again, better to tell it now and have the story remembered. You say I am the old Numenera, so we must speak of the new to understand my tale. I didn't ask for your tale. Fine. His lips part in a feral smile as he grasps at the last memories in his mind. The new Numenera. Pah! What has she done worth mentioning? Who trembles at her voice? Tell me, who fears her steps? Who among her people wouldn't slip a blade into her back? Oh, she did for me, it's true, her and her courtier. But I had loyal retainers to the end. Loyalty and fear, like a fist. She may have taken my place, but she'll never match my rule. You know, this guy's growing on me. If the bloom hadn't turned against me after my decade in power, I'd be there still. But she dragged me to the heart of the beast and let it sift through my mind, fed it all my crimes, and then she left me there. He swallows. Ask your questions of me, while the fragments of memories still linger. Ask now, and make the questions count. No. Fuck you. How did the new Numenera unseat you? She knew the bloom was angry with me. She told me she'd been below and had seen something that she thought might explain why I lost my bond. I didn't know she'd hidden her killers around the bloom, or that she was the one who'd ruined shipments or driven off the citizens. She'd put her muscle into play, and I never even saw it. And she took me to the heart of the bloom. He swallows. When you went down, her thugs moved in. They killed everyone in the fortress who had sworn for you. They hunted us down in the belly of the bloom. They cast us through maws under unfamiliar suns. I fled into the city with a few of your lieutenants, and we had to kill some of our friends to get through the gates. And once we'd settled up there, she started hunting us in the city too. She shakes her head. She cast aside years of tradition to hunt me. I'd have sworn loyalty when you died. Good, that's excellent. Nothing you could have done. Nothing. She was bold and fast. What happened in the heart of the bloom? She brought me through a new maw, an entry to the heart I'd never seen. It was then that I knew what she intended, and we fought, but she was fast and strong. And bold? Was she bold? And I was old and drunk. She didn't kill me, though. Oh no. She wanted me to suffer for the crime of raising her up. She bound me there, and she stood above me and reveled in my pain as the bloom sucked away everything that I was. I'll say this for her. She was better at malice than I ever was. thought you were feared, no? Tell me about your reign as Numenera. He smiles, a cruel thing almost lost in his beard. I lived with my knife in my hand. I never lost my love for its kiss. I took what I wanted and I shared with the best of my crew. But I had laws, mind you, laws and strictures that kept the merchants pouring through the bloom. No sense in scaring off the easy meat, no need to be greedy. They said I was weak, but that was because they didn't know how strong I truly was. And that's why the bitch came for me too. Too grasping she was. Her face is more animated than you've ever seen it. Do you recall when we came down on the Repcod and their trade in scent stealers? You plugged their leader into his own machine and the feedback melted his eyes. And the rest of them, you said something to the bloom and the floor wrapped around their anchors. Anchors, not ankles. They're anchors now. These are some weird cyborgs. Around their ankles, and you had us go back to feed them for years until their legs atrophied away. Matkina, my white death, is that you? I do remember that. He starts laughing, a hollow, ragged, terrible sound. A disused engine choked on pain. I remember that. You were magnificent that day. He turns back to you. Quick, ask another question. What do you think of the new Memavira? The memories slip, light skittering down a tunnel. As I grab at them, they go. No, his voice pleads. Stop them. They're me. A look of pity crosses her face. She catches your gaze, and she shakes her head and looks away. I know his pain, she says. I know. I know you know. Do I need to ask these? Who are you? This seems kind of redundant, whatever. His sockets stare into you for a moment while he considers. At last he shakes his head and says, I do not know. I have language, and I have the memory of muscles, but I do not remember how I came by these truths. What I remember is waking in the depths of the bloom. I remember walking. I remember years of darkness before I emerged into the upper reaches at last. What happened to you? The bloom took my old life from me. I woke in its beating heart and gestated there while it digested my memories. I remember being terrified, but I do not remember what terrified means. He shakes his head to clear it. I had a name, I had a body, I had emotion and a life outside of this form. But I do not remember any of those things now. I do not remember fear. I am reborn in a new life. I am free. So I assume this is the dialogue you'd get had you not brought Matkina with you. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I walk through this larger part of me and let it guide my steps. The weapons of humans mean nothing to this shape, and the paths of the bloom open for me. I am a part of the bloom. It is a part of me. I have been to places others have never seen, and I have seen worlds that lie waiting beyond the maws. Came from the depths of the bloom? What did you see down there? A giant penis. My god. If I speak of them, the memories disappear from me forever. Yet thoughts themselves are ephemera, like our lives. Gone, and only those we choose to share have any hope of continuation. But even that memory is vanity. In a generation, who will remember these words? His socketless eyes look away, and then back again. He smiles gently. Let me tell you what I saw. The bloom reaches through dimensions and across realities. What did I see? I saw a vast beating heart. I traveled through skeins of the bloom's arteries and its viscera. I stood in open maws and looked out across alien landscapes where lost sailors mourn for home, or crystal fields glitter under distant stars. I walked through the slave block where the great Chilla staged her revolution. What would you know? Tell me of the heart. You know, I didn't initially come here expecting to be able to kill the entire bloom, but now that is what I want to do. A great chamber, the place where the bloom spawns and devours its voices, where its whispers gather in conclave, where its intelligence is strongest and sharpest. I woke there, and I knew it from my master. Tell me of the bloom's viscera. The gullet. That is its name among the bloom guides. A place of veins and flesh where the memories of the bloom's chosen, where they are digested. Echoes wander the place, echoes of the Eaten. He holds a hand to his head as if pained. Tell me about the sailors. Lascars, they call themselves, holding fast to their history because they fear they have been forgotten. Old luxury and guilt. Guilt? Okay. And gilt banisters are their prison bars. What about the slave block? Chilla was born there, not physically, but her legend, the first Memorvera, forces out this last word with an effort and a spray of intangible spittle wince on his face. She spoke to the bloom and it answered her. The monument to her strength is a Murden nest now. Oh, I'm feeling a sneeze coming on. That's always good. To hear about the crystal fields. A great plateau whose towers bedazzle the eye. Lightning flickers among the towers, and strange silicate beings tunnel beneath the glassy surface. There have I watched children of stars and information speak to one another through dancing colors. Let me ask you something else, if I can recall the answer. Never mind. By the Black Three. Her voice is quiet, reverent. I never dreamed the power in this place. If I could tame it, make its strength mine. Did you sacrifice centuries of your life for a few years of this? I saw the price. You can have it. What power did you see? I knew the bloom reaches across worlds. I knew that my old boss could command the flesh of the bloom itself, but I never quite understood just how it could be used. Each of the bloom's tendrils can anchor itself on worlds we barely dream. The maws are just the tips of those strands. The bloom is moving through realities, and the person who can control it has all those possibilities at her fingers. With a strike team and good weapons, you could create an empire. And even if the maws start to close and you lose your grip on the empire, you've still got all those weapons, all that Numenera, all that possibility from each of the worlds the bloom touches. Rule well, and you could be unstoppable. She taps a finger on her lips. Still, there must be a reason why the others haven't done this. Would you sacrifice centuries for a few? Yeah, you can have it. Let's do it. She studies your face carefully, as if testing to see if you're joking. Whatever you say, boss. Come on, she bows to the old man, and farewell to you, sir. Bye. Alright, let's interact with this. Immediately interact with whatever this is. It kills you, damn. A blister of flesh protrudes from the ground, an irritated, angry pustule. It is almost entirely opaque, but you see the faintest hints of movement within. Examine the cyst. You study the movement within the cyst more closely, as if in response to your curiosity. The shadow of a hand claws at the interior and vanishes. Someone, or something, is trapped inside the cyst. Let's touch it. I mean, we're immortal, what do we care? You feel something pressing against your mind, a sharp presence like the thought of pain, thrusting its experiences into your imagination. As your fingers brush against the flesh of the cyst, the memories come pouring in, flooding your thoughts with emotions of lives you have never lived, stories from countless lives lost in the bloom. You reach out for a random memory in this swirling maelstrom, and its particulars become immediately, shockingly clear. Your head is throbbing, aching, feels like it's going to split wide open. You're trying to retreat from the battle for this region of the bloom, holding a tower of iron will against your scion foes. But they batter at it ceaselessly, and you can feel your defenses crumbling. If you strike back, you can save your allies, but you will open yourself to your enemies' minds. You saw what they did to Alto. Every pore in his body started leaking blood. His screams are still haunting you. Fuck it, let's fight. The moment your shields fall, they pounce on you, feeding you psychosis and traumas dredged up from your ancestral, primitive past. They start to tear apart your concept of self, placing illusions of lost love and lives lived that are not your own. They whip you with empathy, and you can feel a backdoor attack on your psychomotor functions. The agony is exquisite. You use the pain and rage to lash out at the weakest mind, and you realize then that you are fighting a hive consciousness. Oh no. You cannot defeat these creatures, united as they are. Your only hope is to defend yourself, or one of your squad mates. But only one of the 10 of you can survive the concerted attack of the hive. They knew what they were getting into. Fuck 'em. Let's keep hitting it. You strike, and you strike, and you strike again. You channel your fear into a devastating blow aimed at the heart of the nest. But the energy vanishes, you think? Lines of control snake through your body, dominating you and painting new truths on your mind. Each silver-thin thread draws a universe of pain through your exposed nerves. As your mind slowly dies, your foes show you the bodies of your fallen comrades. Not one escaped. They died in agony. So do you. You return to your own mind with the death of your host, knowing that what you saw, what you felt, was true. The life you lived was full, rich, and ended here in the bloom. Your host's remaining moments were saturated with pain. Your muscles still twitch with the memory of agony, and your suffering bleeds into the cyst, loosening its fleshy fibers. It appears that the bloom has sealed something within this cyst, and your agony is the key that will set it loose. Good. This'll go well. You steel yourself for another memory of pain, and reach out to touch the cyst again. Again, the unbidden memories spring into your mind, and you lose yourself among them until you reach out and seize one. Please, you whisper, hands raised. Clean white dust, untouched by the taint of the bloom, cakes your slender fingers. I worked for years on this sculpture. I've molded it with beams and chisels, and with my bare hands when my tools ran dry. This is the only thing in my life that has meaning. Something in the stone is calling to me. It needs to be given shape. I know that, says the man who used to be your friend. I've seen what it has done to you. He holds a large hammer in his hands. His fists are shaking. You've changed. Ever since you brought this hunk of rock back from that other world, you've changed. It's not art that compels you. There's life already in that thing, and it's using you to get out. He hefts the hammer. I'm here to stop it. You won't ruin my creation. Step aside. This is your last warning. I will destroy it, and if I have to go through you, I will. I'ma fuck you up, mate. As you wish. His hammer is faster than you would have believed, and it blasts the bones in your hand to powder. You fall back, the pain Good. The pain following, and he strikes at the statue directly. The first shot elicits a high-pitched shriek from the stone, and you throw yourself in front of the sculpture to keep another one from landing. Don't make me. He never finishes the sentence, but swings again. Your shoulder collapses with a wet crunch. You embrace the statue, shielding it from the hammer. After a few blows, he focuses entirely instead on you, grunting and growling. Blood spatters the stone beside your cheek. At last, you topple bonelessly to the ground. You watch as he reduces your masterpiece to a pile of rubble and splinters. You struggle to summon a single breath, a single sob. When blackness comes, you welcome it. Consciousness calls you back into its arms, and you find yourself aching emotionally and physically from these experiences. Your muscles throb and pulse with the residue of the fight-or-flight response, and the cyst again responds to your pain. Its fibers loosen further. Touch the cyst again and ask yourself if this is really a good thing to be doing. You steel yourself for another memory of pain and reach out to touch the cyst again. Again, the unbidden memories spring into your mind, and you lose yourself among them until you reach out and seize one. You gaze through the faint shimmer and ripple of the force field, down the silent red-veined tunnel into the pulsating black. It looks empty. You know it is now. You feel the eyes on you, the hungry eyes. But you feel no fear. You feel emptiness within you, under a scab that you want to pick. Examine the emptiness. You remember her laughing face. You remember her closing her eyes, the tentacles of her hair writhing around the back of your head, pulling you in for a kiss. You remember her delighted laughter when you told her you'd found a lost settlement at the end of a quiet tunnel in the bloom, untouched by scavengers, a fortune lying on shelves and in neat crates. You remember leading her by the hand. The pain rises. Your hand strokes the force field's controls. Let's find out what happened. You don't want to remember. You don't, but you go deeper anyway. You'd installed the shield to protect your find from other explorers, and when you fled the ruins and the shrieking things beneath, it was the shield that saved you. You, and not her. You saw them fall on her 10 steps from safety. Pale claws, blood-painted, screams from beneath the seething pile. So much blood, and she never stopped screaming. Finally you raised the shield, and only then did silence fall. You look at your hand, hovering over the shield controls. For all you know, she could still be screaming down there in the ruins. And it's your fault. The life you were going to build together is gone. Erased. You have just one more thing to do. I guess we'll join her, you know? Seems good. Your hand slides across the control, and you deactivate the screens. Silence follows. She is not still screaming. You feel a moment's relief. The countless nightmares lied to you after all. You take a single step into the dark. Another. And then they swarm up the tunnel and fall on you. Biting and clawing and chewing and shrieking. After endless agony, blackness claims you. The ache in your heart has become familiar, even as the sorrow and heartbreak seem new and fresh each time. Different facets of the same emotion, each refracted through a new experience. Facets, not faucets. Faucets are taps. The cyst's fibers twitch again, loosening one final time, revealing a frail, angular creature trapped inside. It bursts out of the cyst, leaving a glittering object behind in its haste to escape. I really hope that thing doesn't, you know, turn out to be a serial killer or something. Bye. Did it just kill itself? Now that the cyst has disgorged its prisoner, the husk looks hollow, deflated, defeated. Examine the remains. Oh good, we got a mesmeric handle. Oh, it's a quest item. Something catches your eye. It's a piece of sharp metal that protrudes from just underneath a fold of decaying bloom flesh. You cannot begin to guess at its function, but it's small and easy to carry. You slip it into your pouch.
I'll remember that.
I'm curious how the bloom managed to trap that abacus. Sure, abacus? There we go, it's an abacus. It helps you count. Inside the cyst, she says, then shrugs. No matter. You found yourself an object of transdimensional power, dear. The abacus must have drained it of energy. Let's examine the remains again. There's fucking nothing here. Oh, thanks. Thanks again.
As you wish.
Let's talk to Sunderman the Younger. Hi, Sunderman the Younger. Can I sleep here? This friendly-looking youth is dripping strips of cured bloom flesh into colored dye. He looks up as you approach, revealing startlingly yellow eyes. That just says startling. Hello, madam. Are you interested in our wares? They're handcrafted and one of a kind. What sort of work are you doing? I'm Sunderman's apprentice. That means I do whatever he tells me, really. Mostly harvesting usable bloom flesh. It's always an adventure, flesh harvesting. Though my elder tells me I'll be going away on a bigger adventure soon. He grins cheerfully. Can't wait. Since this is this kind of game, he's definitely gonna die. 100% they are planning to kill him, and maybe eat him. Isn't it dangerous to harvest bloom flesh? Not really. People only fear the bloom when they don't understand it. He puffs up his chest. I've lived here all my life, and nothing's ever happened to me. Oh, but it will, youngster, chuckles the old merchant who stands beside the apprentice. It will. I mean, very clearly this is what's... Can I somehow get money from this, or a place to sleep? The younger man laughs uncomfortably. You keep saying that, but won't say when. If I did, says the older man, you might try to avoid it. That's some creepy shit. What do you sell here? You'll probably be interested in the specialty items and armor we craft from bloom flesh. But we also sell everyday stuff like clothes and building supplies. Everybody buys from us, even those... shivers. Those Murdens. Talk to my elder if you want to buy anything. No, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm interested in your wares. Great, you should talk to my elder. He handles the actual trading. Fine. How are you planning to kill that guy? Near a display of goods that all appear to be made of bloom flesh, either tanned, beaten, carved, or cured, stands an old man who looks fairly tanned, beaten, carved, and cured himself. He also has startling yellow eyes, just like his apprentice. Hello, he exclaims. Admiring my stock, you won't find anything else like it. Not even here in the bloom, all handcrafted and one of a kind. Yeah, I have some questions for you. You plan to kill that guy? Who wouldn't when confronted with such unusual merchandise? Ask away. I couldn't help but notice that you and your apprentice look very much alike. Well spotted, well spotted. He grins widely, a twinkle in his eye. And why would you speculate that is, madam? I think he's your cousin. Wrong. We are, in fact, one and the same person. He leans in and grins. I see you don't believe me, so let me explain. Please don't. I do believe you. This game's incredibly weird, sure. One day soon, my younger self will be walking along when the bloom will open a maw beneath him, and he'll tumble into another world, years in the past. Or maybe the journey to the past will be when he tries to come back. Whatever the case, it'll take him many decades and worlds to travel back here. He smiles wistfully. I envy him the experiences he will have, but thank him for the memories. Doesn't knowing what will happen change the future? Frowns, puzzled. Why? I knew it was coming, but it hasn't changed my past. Sounds like a dangerous journey. Shouldn't you warn yourself? I did, but I didn't listen. He smiles affectionately at his younger self. Besides, when I think about all the stories I've filled my head with, it's hard to remember exactly what I said about when the big day is. He leans in close and whispers, but it's coming soon. Alright, I guess you're not going to kill him then. Let me see what you have for sale. Actually, what about the cyst at the edge of the platform? He regards you with a squint. Whatever was in there was probably pretty dangerous. And now it's out. Yeah, and now it's out. Yep, good. And now it's out, thanks to a certain someone who thought they knew better than the bloom. Yeah, fuck you too. Let me see what you have for sale. Nothing. No. Bloom Flesh Armor. Medium armor artifact. 7 armor, 5 resistance. -3 to might. A tentacle latches onto a nearby enemy. Does 6 strength. Wow, that's pretty good actually. I can't afford that, can I? Oh. Although, that 200. I don't want to sell this. I'm not going to use it. What's this? That's pretty cool. Why am I interested in that? This 209? I don't think I need this. I think Makina has some oddities. No. Never mind, we don't have any oddities left. I thought we did, but we don't. I'm gonna get rid of this. I probably shouldn't get rid of that. I'm going to. And, this. Good. That may have been a terrible, terrible decision. I suppose we'll find out later. Alright, let's go explore over here and see if somebody will let us sleep. I feel like that'll be good for tanking about, and I think my character has inadvertently become a tank. Oh, you have a name, possibly. As you approach, you see 2 well-dressed merchants in heated conversation with a wiry man who is wearing an assortment of odd-looking leathers and hides. Upon seeing you, the wiry fellow shoos the merchants away and turns in your direction. Instead of feet, you notice that he has 2 hand-like appendages, fashioned from metal and synth. Indeed, both of his legs have been replaced by these artificial arms that appear remarkably flexible. Looking for the trade post, the wiry man flashes a lopsided flashes a lopsided grin and jabs a thumb at the giant toothy jaw behind him. Used to be in there till the bloom got hungry and ate it. At least I think that's what happened. Never can tell with this big old sack of guts we call home. Then how am I supposed to get to the Ascension? One of the merchants glares at the wiry fellow. That's just what we were asking him. Only one way to the Ascension Gate, and that's through the trade post, just like I said. The wiry man squints at the merchant, as if daring him to push a little further. Surprisingly, the merchant looks away, the fight going out of him. That's okay, I'm feeling very violent. The wiry man turns back to you. Knowing the bloom like I do, I'd bet the trade post is still around here somewhere. You might find a mall that'll take you there, if you look hard enough. The bloom never closes off a path for long, but finding it again, that's a whole different story.
Updated my journal.
Name's Gristler, by the way. Bloom Guide, Explorer, and Scout. 3 times eaten by the bloom and still intact. Well, mostly. He wiggles the artificial fingers on one of his feet. I don't give a shit about any of this. Alright, bye. Is that a mod? No, that's the pool with the water. Let's go here. Oh, we could maybe go down there. Should we do that? Let's go do that. Let's go do that.
On it. I'm ready.
Ooh. Hello, angry mob. As you enter the slum, you nearly crash into a small confrontation. 5 mutants surround 3 guards dressed in the distinctive garb of the Memravira's enforcers. This must be one of Bruska's lost patrols. Before you hear them say a word, you already know the mood here is ugly, and it's likely to turn to violence soon. A mutant who looks like his face is full of spores or insect eggs leans toward a disgusted, terrified human and says, "You are leaving a trail of fear, piss. Who'd pay you for protection?" One of the other guards, less phased, pushes the mutant back. "It ain't fear, piss. It's the spit you're spraying when you talk. Why don't you go hatch your eggs by burying your face in a pillow? Real people are conducting business here." The second mutant, one who'd been observing the Farrakis, I don't know why. My brain was like, say faces there. I was like, okay, brain. Observing the Farrakis noticeably bristles, thorns literally emerging from his arms, shoulders, and face, and he pushes forward. Every damned one of you looks the same, 2 arms, 2 legs, no surprises. You want to collect our money, I'll make you eat it, and your friends can collect it from your rotting shit. Mutant punctuates each sentence with an increasingly vicious stab of its fingers. You can feel a bloody tide rising, and if you wish to intervene, the clock is winding down. Well, I like a good bit of bloodshed now and then, with basically no health on any of my companions. I wonder if I can actually just sit and do nothing. I mean, they're not... I don't think they're painted as hostile. I suppose I could talk to them. Great, I guess I'll do that. With Eratus, apparently. You focus on the thorn-covered mutant, and the weight of your gaze turns his head. What do you want, human? You want in on a long-due bloodletting? You better talk fast. We're itching to get started. Spine-covered mutant's eyes remain focused on the Memavira's enforcers, his mouth drawing thinner and thinner. I want to do this, but I know it's a bad idea. Ah, fuck it. You'll die with this lot, you carking soft-flesh skist eater. You know, I feel like I'd be more offended if I knew what skist was. Fuck him up, Eratus. Yes, good. That was a lot of damage with some sort of AoE effect that I didn't know he could do. I'm very impressed, honestly. Let's keep fucking them up. Let's use the new gun. Everybody likes the new gun. That was the new gun, everybody. That was pretty good, actually. I think that's more damage than she's ever dealt. Are they not stunned? I thought they were stunned. Oh, there are only 2 guards there because one of them ran away. I thought it said there were 3, but, you know, maybe I'm just making that up. You could just kill them, that'd be great.
I will gut you.
Thank you. Oh, good. Oh, I think they just failed at stealth. That's always nice. This is interesting. I assume that's an ability he got from leveling up that I've forgotten now. Oh, is that the third one? Never mind.
We approve.
Well, this fight has been incredibly one-sided. It's always good. Let's move her
My sisters lend their strength.
out of the melee, shall we?
As if there were any doubt of my skill.
You know, I don't know why she looks all yellow. I think it's to do with her sword. I don't remember. I feel like this may turn out to be that we are helping a terrifying and brutal police force oppress an underprivileged and... Wow, that was pretty good. I mean, you know, it served our interests. That's fine. Is it the sword we gave him? Didn't we give him a sword? What's going on now? No, it's not that. Is it this? Why does he have that? Use item. Probably shouldn't have done that. Inspect the device. The device is made of azure steel. It appears to be inert and has no obvious function. A stylized name is inscribed into the steel. Ixu. Oh, we know who that is. Behind a strong glass plate, you find a compartment that contains an old, depleted power core. It's blackened and drained, so you toss it aside. You could place another power source inside the compartment, but it may require a particular type of energy. Well, as I recall, that man owes us for getting rid of those cultists. I wish I could use heavy weapons. We pick that up? No? No? Okay.
On it.
There we go. I think we want to give all our healing items to Eratus, since he's the best with them. For some reason. So I never did find out what the, is it this? Well... Ah. Apparently he crit a couple of times. Alright, well, to be honest, I kind of want to go and talk to Ixu now, so let's go do that.
Yes.
Ixu, darling, fix this thing for me, and then let me keep it. This.
I'll remember that.
Doubts rise within. His left eye goggles at you momentarily. Extraordinary claims demand proof. He steps to the door and peers outside. When he turns back, he constructs a wide smile for your benefit. It looks strange on his Varyelan face. Departures and homecomings have come to their forces, it seems. Hopes throng and ask for elucidation. Will they return? Evidence would suggest otherwise. My gratitude. Accept this. He presses something small into your hands. It is this. An encephalon of subjugating revivification. Great. Wow, that's okay, that's pretty cool. I found this, by the way. His eyes bulge and his flat voice gains a tiny bit of modulation. The scalpel? Where did you find this? This was among the first devices I created to test the bloom. A trans-dimensional blade that could cut its flesh cleanly and preserve its properties for study. Yet a thief removed it from my care. An abacus that entered my dwelling and absconded.
Making a note.
Oh, excuse me, what a terrible noise. The power source for the blade is lacking. Transdimensionality is required. No more such sources are to hand here, but perhaps the crashed Katina? Sure. And little Nihilish might contain such a source. Should you find one, bring it to this place, and I may be able to improve upon my earlier design. Bye.
I'm ready.
I assume that to be the slum, for no particular reason. Now, I have to confess, I've heard about this scalpel, and I don't think it's going to replace any of the weapons that anybody has now. I think the only person it's good for is Makina, and I like that she deals a lot of relativistic damage.
You won't notice I'm gone.
Mutants everywhere. Is that a maw? Oh, that is a maw. Should we go talk to the maw? Let's do it. No, because that's probably not going to go horribly. Because the bloom's not angry with us or anything. No. Is this the thing? That's probably the thing. A reddened mass of flesh protrudes from the bloom wall, surrounded by waving tendrils. The flesh is thick and strong, glistening like a newborn beast. A jagged seam runs across its surface, with faint light spilling from within. As you approach, all sounds of little... Aha! There we go, it is little Nihilish. Seem to fade. The hushed conversations of the mutants recede into the distance, replaced by the hissing, chittering voices of the bloom. Matkina lays a hand on your shoulder. A maw, whispers Matkina, as if she didn't want to draw its attention. Her voice is wary, respectful. Those waving tendrils, they're its tongues. The bloom is focused here. If it likes the smell of you, it'll take a bite. Her mouth quirks a little, probably best for our ilk to steer clear. Let's observe the behavior of the bloom tongues. The fleshy tendrils probe the air, as if they've caught a faint scent of something they like. Their movements are quick and eager, giving an impression of youthful vigor, but they don't seem interested in you. Listen carefully to the bloom's voices. The hissing and chitterings of the bloom are no different than usual, as far as you can tell. Let's offer ourselves to the bloom tongues. You step closer to the waving tendrils and die. Game over. Damn. You step closer to the waving tendrils, though you're well within reach of the maw itself. The bloom tongues don't even twitch in your direction. They're obviously not interested in you at all. Fine. See if I care. Frickin' mouth that won't eat me. Jeez. I've got better things to do anyway. Screw you, mouth. Let's search the construct for anything. Well, let's inspect it first. You study the remains of the construct, putting the details together, noticing scattering. Noticing scattered piles of refuse and burnt holes in the back of its armor. The construct was likely cornered here and tried to flee up the mounds of trash rather than fight its tormentors. They attacked it from behind, and it fell, either dead or dying. Search it for anything useful. You search for a few minutes, but find nothing of value. Scavengers must have long ago picked this construct clean. Absently, you lay your hand upon the metal shell to push yourself away from the wreck, and feel a faint, intermittent vibration. Let's do this, but let's use Matkina with her really high speed values. Putting your shoulder up against one of the construct's vertical vents, you reach into the dark, probing carefully, following the vibrations rippling toward you. Straining, you walk your fingers up mesh-swaddled objects, across a cable to a partially crushed cube, strung with frayed wires. You carefully shift a loose hunk of metal from the cube's surface aside and keep looking for the source of the vibration. A wave of wordless sorrow crashes over you. Oh shit, do we need to duck? Do we need to take cover? Tinged with flecks of hope, your gaze shifts back to your hand, and the hunk of metal. The alien emotion came through it into you. As if summoned by the thought, a small floating sphere drifts into view. It prods at the cube with a beam of light, then vibrates softly. Watch the sphere at work. The sphere drifts around the inside of the dead construct, occasionally halting to, yes, it's repairing damage, as if patching holes in the armor will bring its host back to life. Every few minutes it returns to the broken cube and attempts to repair it again, When nothing happens, the sphere vibrates, and when that happens, you hear a soft series of whirring clicks. It may be some sort of machine language, but you can't make any sense of it. Let's take the sphere in the module. You pull the communication module from the surface of the cube, and the sphere follows, shivering in the open air. It turns, as if taking in the ruined hulk one last time. Then it settles into your open palm obediently, shuddering. Oh good, we have a sphere now. It's a bonded item. Heals 2 to 6. Wow, that also seems very good. Do I have it's not cipher use. Oh, I guess I don't have it. Or is it concentration? Ah, good. Can I give bonded artifacts to other people? I can. But they don't necessarily... I don't think any of them have concentration. So it may not be the best. I should probably switch these if we're doing tanky stuff. I should probably give this to Eratus, since he seems to be doing all the might attacks. Actually, does that fuck him over? Like, totally? I think we'll leave it for now. I think he's doing okay. Alright, now, I suspect that we're either looking for this thing or this thing, although I can only examine that. Let's look in here. And see if we can't find a battery for a scalpel.
In this world, then.
Let's go pick this up. Or not?
All right.
There we go. Okay.
Happy to help.
A pale blue light pulses gently. The air in this space feels charged, almost solid. A small glass control panel, apparently hovering in the air, winks with light and fills with tiny images. You raise your hand to touch the panel. Before you touch it, ghosts materialize around you, crowding you with their intangible presence, with their need. The nearly transparent Varyelan speaks. What do you intend with this? Suffering will come if you persist. Ignore the ghosts because they don't fucking matter. You study the control panel carefully. If the katana were in motion, oh good, this is where we were told to come. You suspect it would convey much more information than is currently available. As it is, you're able to see that it has traveled to thousands of destinations, along a route that follows specific dimensional pathways on a circuit that, if you're reading this right, reached through the stars. The panel brings up a wealth of information about the katana's systems in the form of tiny animated images. One of the icons appears to initiate the sequence to eject the katana's core power. Power core. Fucking whatever, it's fine. Let's do it. You press the icon. Immediately a host of other icons spring to life. From what you can tell, multiple steps must occur before the power core can be removed. You'll have to draw the power source from the assembly, direct it into a containment unit, and then cause the containment anchors to release. You can extract the unit from the machine. Then you can extract the unit from the machine. It seems like this should be fairly straightforward, if laborious. The Varyelan ghost interposes itself. We are concerned. We ask you to reconsider. You ignore him and press another icon. Lightning begins to dance across the panel. If you're not careful, you might get hurt. If only we knew someone with a ton of speed. If only we knew someone. Alright. It appears that the arcs fire in a complicated pattern, but a few moments of regarding that pattern settles it in your mind. Your fingers dart in and out until at last you manage to complete the process. The power core has been ejected from the assembly. Now you need to move it into the containment unit. You start the transfer sequence, but suddenly the control panel goes dark. The ghosts thicken around you. You will doom us to oblivion. I'm afraid I just don't care. Under their voices, a stronger undercurrent thrums, a subsonic pulse that quivers in your gut. Ah, the min-maxing is strong. You tap the broken power image, the old icons disappear, and a new screen of options appears. You study it carefully. One of the images shows an alien claw swiping through a complicated series of gestures at the panel, and then pushing an icon that looks like a wave. You imitate its motions, and the panel winks back into full functionality. Now that power has been restored, you're able to complete the transfer of the core. It appears, at least according to the instructions, that the only task remaining is to remove the containment unit. Unfortunately, the unit appears to be stuck. The column of light has locked the containment device into place. It seems the Katana is working to stop you. The ghosts of the passengers crowd around you, and though they cannot touch you, they can distract you. Light shines into your eyes, voices fill your ears, and all of them whisper and urge you to stop what you intend. Oh good, red tide. You rock the unit back and forth, slowly pushing it through the coherent light. At last, you manage to angle it out of the plume. You pull it free. You open the containment unit, revealing a single functional power source. The others are silent and dead. You examine the active power supply more closely, and a sudden shift in perspective leaves you nauseous.
I'll remember that.
Oh good. It is as if you looked down upon a billion stars swirling around holes of pure emptiness. You know, like those holes of emptiness from that arch way back when. A darkness deeper than anything you have ever seen before. It doesn't have an ever there. You see red lines shift toward infrared, and then blackness, and you see the holes burst open in a fountain of brilliant white. The Foundation scatters stars that circle around new holes, fade to black, and the cycle repeats. The Katana seems to run on collapsing singularities. The lights in the Katana flicker and dim, fading slowly as the residual power within them expires. The further lights go first, darkness marching across the Katana toward the power source. As the slow wave of darkness builds, it snatches the ghosts into oblivion as well. Good, fuck him. Alright, let's keep looting this ship, shall we?
Below. Above. Sideways.
Shall we? No?
Of course.
Please?
Go.
There we go. Oh look, some gloves.
Ready.
Alright, good. I guess we can go back to Ixu now and get however many shins the scalpel is worth.
All right.
I may have been convinced that the entrance was over here. No, maybe. Maybe.
I'm going.
I kind of wonder if the captain of the guard, whose name I have forgotten, is going to be upset at us for killing people. Or she'll be quite pleased with that. I don't know, we'll see. Hi, Ixu. He gives it a cursory look. Connect it and see. It is a simple matter. If you are successful, I will see what can be done about the blade itself. Oh, okay. Oh, this is speed? Okay.
I'm ready to become even more heroic.
Oh, good. You take out the cylinder that you found in the crashed Katana and try to slide it into the compartment on the hilt. Initially, it looks as though it won't quite fit, but you discover that if you press the cylinder gently against the opening, it gradually resizes itself and fits neatly inside. A small, fine blade of pure transdimensional energy sprouts from the hilt. You realize that this device is a scalpel. With a twist of the hand, the blade can quickly be switched on or off. Pocket the weapon. Hi, Exu. He holds out his hand without looking you in the eye. He keeps his eyes focused elsewhere until you place the scalpel in his palm. He sets it onto his bench and his fingers fly between his tools and the blade. The process takes only a few moments, and when he is finished, he extends his arm to the side and waits for you to take it from his palm. When you do, he returns to his notes. His sullen air is almost infectious. Thank you. Alright, let's take a look at the transdimensional scalpel, shall we? 9 plus 3. Okay. It's worth 770 shins? Wow, okay. You know what, let's give this to Makina. And we'll keep the impossible blade on hand, should we need it for
All right.
things that, you know, resist transdimensional damage, I suppose. Although that said, I don't know if I can switch between combat. So, that may not matter that much. But, you know, whatever, it'll be fine. Let's go over here. You know, instead of going back to the place that we've already partially explored. We'll go somewhere new and see what's going on. I just want to run into more of those patrols so that I can kill people. Ah, good, mercenaries. My favorite kind of Cernes. A pair of bored-looking soldiers in filthy uniforms bar your way. Blue and silver markings are still visible under the grime, but only just. Their weapons, on the other hand, are clean, well-maintained, and appear to have seen serious use. The guards glance at each other for the barest fraction of a second, and then, holding a smirk, the first one says, "Welcome to Chirurgeon Slump, under the protection of Artigillos? I don't care. Irregulars. Here to see one of our fine medical professionals? It'll only cost you He breaks off suddenly. No fee, I beg your pardon. Very well. Why aren't you charging me any shins? His eyes are fixed on your tattoo. I'm sorry, you'll have to speak to our captain, Artigilio. Fucking, I hate that name already. Artigilio, let's go with. Artiglio, probably. Artiglio, sure. He and his companion turn away, pointedly avoiding your gaze. Yeah, that's right. Where's Artiglio? There he is. The features of this once handsome man are sunken and splotchy, the face of anxiety and drink evidenced by the flagon in his hand. The veins of his nose have broken, giving it a rosy appearance. Any cheer that might have lived in his face is destroyed by the frequent nervous glances over his shoulder. Following his gaze, you see a maw some distance away. He looks you over, his eyes lingering on your cast-off tattoo. He takes a slow, deliberate drink. Come looking for soldiers, have you? You've found us. Want a kingdom overthrown? A tomb robbed? A caravan guarded? If you've got the shins, then you've still come to the wrong place. Artiglio's irregulars are not ready to serve. Go hang. Then he reconsiders. Fine, what do you want? Why'd you stare at my tattoo? He licks his lip. His lip, he's only got one. You're a cast-off. I'm waiting for you to tell me the penalty for desertion. He holds up his hand as if to motion a stop, and then you see that his troops are all watching you. But unless you come here with more strength than this, you'll have a hard time enforcing that penalty. That sounds like a challenge. Let's go. Desertion from what? Man, could it be the endless war? I'm a deserter from the endless battle. The changing gods side. Don't tell me you haven't heard of me. He looks away. Don't answer that. Let me tell you what happened. We'd been working for the commander they called the Chalcedon for years. We earned our pay the hard way, but we did it honorably. We took bigger and bigger risks. Good. Bigger and bigger risks. And when I objected one day, the Chalcedon told me any cast-off could do my job, and for cheaper. Cast-offs don't die easy, not true for the rest of us. When we took our last objective for the Chalcedon, we found a nest of Uralisks? Sure. Not one, mind you, but many. I reported it personally to the Chalcedon. Do you have to keep calling him the Chalcedon? You can't just use him? You're only talking about one person here. The commander of the Changing Gods. You also mentioned that. The commander of the Changing Gods army. And she told me to wipe them out, no matter the cost. Wait, didn't we meet the Chalcedon? Wasn't he a guy? Whatever. Having lost 10 of my friends that day, the cost was already too high. He glances again at the maw. So I took it on myself to get the pay we were owed, and then we left. We came here to carve out a living, but it looks like we're still not clear of cast-offs. Yes, we deserted our posts. The endless battle is a ruiner of lives, and I'm damn proud I didn't waste any more there. What's that you're drinking? This is Asterian rum, one of the finest and deadliest concoctions I've found in my travels across this land. It's like being smothered in a blanket of soft fur and drowned in love. It can strip the gloss off just about any material you care to name, too. Most people can't drink 1 mug, let alone 2. Even these brave soldiers find it hard going. But you, I challenge you to match me, and I'll match you. Put that vaunted cast-off constitution to the test. Well, I mean, I can't die, so let's do it. It burns on the way down. He wasn't kidding about its harsh qualities, but he failed to mention the acid sting it puts in your nose. Tears spring to your eyes, but you manage to swallow it all. Artiglio beams broadly. Have another? Sure, apparently with Edge this is free. It doesn't go down any easier than the first. In fact, it's a little tougher. But you manage to choke it down, and though your stomach rebels, you're able to keep it under control. Most people can't drink 1 mug, let alone 2. This guy just loves repeating himself, apparently. Even these brave soldiers. He gestures to the crowd around him, irony inflecting his voice. Even these mighty warriors find it hard going. But you, I challenge you to match me, and I'll match you. This is exactly what he said. Okay, I'm gonna drink some more rum. Wow, okay. Well, that's embarrassing. You lose count of the number of drinks you have, but Artiglio matches you, just as he said he would. In the end, his long experience with the rum wins out, and you find yourself slumping to the floor. His troops give you a friendly jeer, and Artiglio turns back to them with another story. So the First herself comes barreling through the flames on the back of Ernine, walls of fire curling in behind her like great wings. Sir? The First has been dead for decades. Tell me about this, actually. Do tell us about this. We're looking for her. What was that about the First? The First? Huh? I'd like to take another shot at your drinking game. If you came here expecting any kind of gameplay content aside from this drinking game, it's not gonna happen. Never mind. No, I'd hate to waste the rum. If you couldn't keep up with me the first time, I've little doubt you'd be painting the bloom with your bile next time. It makes a show of looking around the place, though it could use some color. I don't know, this is one of the more colorful places we've been. He rummages around in a backpack that's lying nearby. Hold on a moment, I've got a consolation for you. He pulls out a battered mug. Here, this is appropriate for you, friend. Wait, watch. He pours a healthy surfing of rum into the mug, and starts laughing as the rum disappears to a mere swallow. Could be helpful for the next time you think to challenge someone, eh? Didn't you challenge me? He throws a friendly elbow into your ribs. Best part is that it only does that to intoxicants. I mean, it's the best part if you're a lightweight. Me, I think it's a criminal waste. Okay, great. Have you seen any of those patrols that I'm looking for? They stopped by to collect their duties a while ago. He belches. Can't remember when exactly. I think they were headed for the old slave block next. That's where the Murdens live. He lifts his mug in mock salute. Best of luck to them. Thank you. Let's go talk to Sheen. Hello, Sheen. When she turns, you realize that the thing you had mistaken for a bundle of sticks and twine is a woman. An impossibly thin woman. Her face all angles and lines, her arms summer twigs. Her clothes drape across her like a sailcloth, and though her face is young, her eyes are old, old, old. Her hands are pitted and scarred from alchemical processes, the apparatus for which stands in dizzying profusion behind her. She does not meet your gaze as she greets you, but her eyes rove across your body, watching and weighing. Traveler, the shop of Sheen lies open before you. Essences distilled, drafts for quaffing, experiences delivered a mouthful at a time. Her voice is flat, though an undercurrent in her voice sings at a register you cannot hear. Yeah, can you create a mixture that will open the maw here in the slump? Know you what it seeks? All creatures live in desire. So too must the maw desire something. I don't fucking know. Show me what you have for sale. Nothing good. Oh, excuse me. I probably shouldn't be instantly dismissing these because they're ciphers, but that seems really good, actually. I don't really care about this, nor this, nor this, or this, or this, or this, or this, or this. Also, please? No? Okay. Do I care about this? Alright, I think we'll leave it at that for now. Let's go talk to this maw and see if this one likes us better than the one in the slums, which just was having none of our bullshit. In a darkened corner of the slump, surrounded by waving tendrils, is a knotted mass of bloom flesh. The flesh looks thick and old, and you can detect a jagged seam running across its surface, with faint light glinting from within. This is clearly another maw, though it appears to be older than others of its kind. The whispering voices of the bloom chitter in your ears, and all other sounds fade into the distance. Cut open the maw with the transdimensional scalpel, because you're sick of its bullshit. As you brandish the scalpel, Matkina lays her hand across yours. Wait, I've never heard of someone who hurt the bloom casually. Even a cast-off has reason to fear. Are you sure about this? Yes, Matkina, I am sure about this. Bad decisions are basically the theme of this character. She opens her mouth to reply, then removes her hand. She shrugs. Your show. You drive the scalpel into the maw's knotted flesh, and it yields like a yields like a quivering blubber. Encouraged, you begin slashing through flesh and gristle. The bloom emits a hissing, seething roar, and a wave of almost palpable hatred passes over you. The ground shakes, and the maw opens. Good. Remember, kids, casual violence is the best kind of violence. Let's go through here. It's you, dying. That's all that it is. Oh. A scene of horror lies before you, the walls and floors turned against the inhabitants of this chamber, opening toothy orifices to drag them down and devour them. Judging by the half-devoured wagons and other debris, this was a market of some kind. Or a trade post. You hear faint whispers all around you, harsh and menacing, growing in number. Their hatred is palpable, as is their rage for the wound you inflicted upon the maw in the Chirigan slump. That's fine. I'm willing to fight some weird, creepy shit. You know, on second thought, really should have found a place to sleep before I decided to do this. I assume Eris is saying that. Oh, these things really aren't much of a threat. Okay.
My attack didn't feel strong at all. At all.
Did he just teleport? Okay, sure. If it crits 11 damage, this may not be too bad, although we are all kind of fucked. What's my tentacle ability? Is that automatic? I guess so. I don't see it here. Can I hit that? No. I can hit that one, though. Let's try and position ourselves more centrally to this fight.
Stop me now.
Oh, good. I'm glad that I didn't select push or pull. I'm sure this will go stunningly.
Come, taste your death.
Did that push Aratus? I'm not sure. I hope it didn't. My plan was to try and push them away from him. Where did he end up? He's over there. I think it did push him. Oh well. And I think if we move this way... if they all ended up... Can we move over there? Let's do that. And Matkina, who does all the work. Oh, she has her fancy new weapon now, of course. Which I think was worse than the other one. Good. This one's on pretty low health.
You've never had a chance.
Good.
You want my help? Heal me.
Why is she on 1 HP? Sure. Suddenly giving Eratis all the healing items seems like a bad idea.
Let's go. None can stand before me.
So I'm pretty sure that Eratis should be able to survive another hit, so we ought to be okay.
I need healing.
Do you have a healing thing? Oh, you do. Maybe you should, you know, use that on yourself then.
Excellent. Thank you.
Oh, it's an AoE. I didn't know that. We'll move her here.
In the shadows.
Where's this one? Oh, it's right there.
Heroic strike of heroic proportions.
Eratis has been getting a lot of crits lately. I'm proud of him. I really am.
Could someone stab some healing into me? Nothing can stop me now.
Another one
Good.
dispatched.
Wow, I was really hoping for more loot than that. Alright. Oh look, a tongue cluster. That's my favorite kind of cluster. Ah, good. 37 shins.
Ready.
Did that whole box have... Okay. Alright, let's tuck... Yes, let's tuck to the tongue cluster. Good. A wriggling mass of tendrils rises from the ground. They remind you of the tongues that surround a maw, writhing and twisting around each other. They make wet, unpleasant sounds. As you draw near to the cluster of tongues, the voices of the bloom begin to chitter and hiss in your ears. Let's listen carefully. The hissings and chitterings are completely unintelligible to you, if indeed they mean anything at all. Let's touch the bloom tongues, because that's probably a good idea. You carefully reach into the cluster of squirming tendrils. When they touch your hand, they pass through it, and a prickly hot-cold sensation runs up your arm. You notice the bloom's voices are much louder when you're touching the tongues, though you can't understand them any better. Okay? As far as... Oh, right, we have to go through here. I thought this was the only thing I could interact with. Never mind, it's fine, don't worry about it. You emerge from the portal into an alien world. The air is thin and bitterly cold. The sun is a tiny white globe in the sky, casting dim light over a landscape of crystalline beauty. You see no sign of organic life, only glittering crystals in every direction. Well, this place sparkles like a very sparkly thing, and I mean that as a compliment. Okay, so presumably this is the place we were told about by that man whose name I've forgotten, although to be fair it was something like Walks Without Fear. So I suspect we're going to run into some sailors. Oh, hello. Are you sailors? Hi, Doran. This tall, weathered man nods to you. He holds himself stiffly as if something will crack off if he moves too quickly. He glances at your tattoo and smiles. Hello, Castoff. I am Doran, prophet of the changing god. It's been a while since we've seen anyone come through here. What's your business in the Ascension? I'm looking for the magmatic amulet. Amulet, sorry. He raises his eyebrows. Now that is interesting business. Sadly, I cannot help you. We've seen nothing but pretty lights. To be honest, I think that's all there is to this place. What does it mean that you're a prophet of the changing god? A title only, he says, bowing his head in momentary respect. The cultists of the Changing God believe I have a special connection, because I found some well-hidden secrets of your father's once. He shrugs. Between you and me, I just got lucky. What secrets of the Changing God did you find? He waves it off modestly. Nothing that would interest you. An old workshop of his with some trinkets. I didn't understand any of it, but the cultists were ecstatic. They drafted me as a prophet and confiscated everything. Well, he winks. Everything I didn't sell first. Fair compensation for my efforts, you know. Are you related to the cult of... Yeah, because there are so many cults of the Changing God running around. We are cultists of the Changing God, yes, though I'm afraid we have little to do with our colleagues in Sega's Cliffs. There is... Oh, excuse me, I had to sneeze. There is not a lot of oversight between our churches. Oh, apparently there are a lot of Changing God cults running around. My mistake. What are you doing in the Ascension? Seeking, he says in a studied, casual tone. We have it on good, though possibly outdated, authority that this place holds more of your father's secrets. We found nothing yet, however. Until we do, we are enjoying the sights and the silence, the crystals and the lights. He shrugs. Our pursuits have taken us to less pleasant places. What can you tell me about this place? Very little, he says, blinking. There are crystals, there are lights, there is no one to talk to and little of value to find. It's a lovely world, but I fear we may be wasting our time here. Alright, bye. Well, there's only one other named NPC here, so I think we'll talk to them. This tall, lithe man has an unkempt shock of bright red hair. I would say that looks like a woman and I would call that brown, but, you know, whatever. His skin is ashen as if colored by the dust of old tomes. It's been a long time since he's seen a real sun. His smile is thin and twitching, and a demented light burns in his eyes. Another cast-off, he says with a sneer. Another echo. Okay. Have you seen a magmatic analyte? He shakes his head slowly, his eyes never leaving yours. And now I think we will fuck off. It's that. That's that right there. Sure. Well, let's have a look around. Why not?
Go.
Oh yes, there's nothing here. This massive crystalline structure looks like a shrine of some sort. Colored lights float about inside, and each one like a tiny galaxy trapped within the crystal. As you approach, the crystal begins to hum. The resonations shake your skull. The humming shifts and increases until you hear a voice. Revel, the bright voice echoes directly in your mind. It stutters, uncertain, like someone trying to remember how to speak. Greetings, patterned one. I am the speaker. Welcome to the ascension of Lanish. I am sorry, but the oracle no longer exists. The lights pulse once, then a much deeper voice emanates from the crystal. Revelation. The oracle was immortal. Time was the weapon that killed her. Something clicks, or cracks, within the crystal, and it speaks with the bright voice again. I regret that without the oracle, I have very few answers for you, but I will do what I can. Why did you call me Patterned One? Could it possibly be because of that because of the tattoo on my head? A few of the lights pull together, creating a glowing circle in the air. No, not a circle. A pentagon, like your tattoo. Patterns are what we do, Patterned One. Life is pattern, and your life more than most. Your thoughts hold a certain shape, a shape I've seen before. The lights twirl and chime wistfully. A man came through here long ago. He did some work here, I believe. Or maybe came to hide something, or find something. He never revealed to me his true purpose. This man shares my pattern? I need to find something he hid. Do you know where it might be? I apologize, but I do not. Investigation was not my specialization, only speaking. The crystal vibrates once. The deep voice speaks. Revelation. The speaker can speak to all sentience. Even that did not exist at the time of its creation. Even those that did not exist. You said revelation in a different voice. What does that mean? You are mistaken. Speakers are not authorized to grant revelations without the oracle's permission, and the oracle is no more. You hear another crack from deep within the crystal, as harsh as ice breaking underfoot. The deep voice speaks again. Revelation. The speaker cannot hear itself give revelations. It stutters and falls silent for a moment, before saying in the bright voice, "I wish that I did have some revelations for you, Patterned One. Alas, that time is long past." Okay, do you know anything about the humans over there? They creepy cannibals? I do not, nor do they know anything about me. I will not speak to them. Its answer is surprisingly curt. Why won't you talk to the other humans? Do they smell? The lights inside the crystal dim slightly. I do not trust them. They don't taste right. You hear a sound in your mind remarkably like a clucking tongue. Not tongue. I cannot explain it.
I'm ready to become even more
Revelation,
heroic.
the deep voice adds, above a chorus of brittle snaps from within its body. The speaker tastes a strange pattern to one of the humans. Two patterns of thought where there should be one. Can you read my thoughts? No, but I can taste them. Among other things, that's how I know to speak in your language. What's it mean that you're the speaker? It means that I speak. My full title was once the Speaker of the Oracle of Kex Lanish. It says the name with soft reverence. Good fucking whatever. I hear questions from pilgrims, relayed them to the Oracle, and then conveyed the Oracle's answers via revelation. I gave wisdom to this entire world. The crystal's light dims. Now I speak for no one, and I have few answers to give. The deeper voice speaks again. Revelation. When the speaker dreams, it dreams of weeping. Sometimes the tears are made of light, others tiny black gems. What was the Oracle? You are standing on it, or rather, what remains of it. The Kex Lanish built the Oracle to answer the most difficult questions of existence. The voice grows wistful. Then the Lanish left. The Oracle remained for 100,000 years or so, before it broke down, I suppose. All that's left of the Oracle are the phobits? Sure. Several sharp clacks resound within the crystal. The deeper voice says, Revelation. The phobits were not always sentient. Cogitation. Would they have become so if the Oracle had not chosen disintegration? What are phobits? The lights dance within the crystal in a manner you can only interpret as proud. We are the phobits, the sparkling lights you see inside some of the crystals. If the Oracle was a brain, then we were its neurons. Each one of us had our own job, our own specialization. You can't speak to the others, of course. That is to say, they're perfectly intelligent, but they are entirely unaware of you. The only reason you and I can speak is because of my role as speaker. The others weren't made for communication or perception. The speaker throbs. The deep voice cuts into the air. Revelation. Common phobits were used to store activation states and simple information. Some may still react to basic, physical stimuli. If the other phobits are sentient, then could you speak to them for me? Or at least make them aware of my presence? Because I have a silver tide, everyone needs to know who I am.
I'm ready to become even more heroic.
Of course, but they know nothing. I don't see what interpreting would... The speaker trails off, pulsing thoughtfully. No, there is a way they can help. Several phobits in the area were in charge of transmission tracts, communication pathways connecting the Oracle's smaller subsystems. When the Oracle passed, those pathways became obsolete and their phobits quiescent. But those tracts could serve as bridges to help you explore the area. The deep voice booms. Revelation. Like humans, the Lanish also required physical structures for traversal. Only a few phobits specialize in areas requiring this knowledge. The speaker is not among them. The speaker's bright voice returns. Try to interact with the phobits. When you do, I'll ask them to activate or deactivate. They may not all be as helpful as we'd like, but I think you'll figure some way to get around. What happened to the Lanish? They just fuck off? I do not know. They left one day, abandoning the Ascension entirely. Perhaps they ascended to a higher form of life. In any case, they did not need the Oracle anymore. Alright, well, bye. So, I suppose we'll be going over this way now. Going this way and keeping an eye out for, I suppose, these? Yes? No?
Yes.
My character seems to think so. I was kind of expecting to, oh, here we go, I can interact with these ones.
Yes, child.
What's this? This crystalline structure is distinct from all the others. It looks older, more fundamental, but by no means basic. It is one of the more complex structures you've seen in this place. Large portions of it glow, emitting a low, rumbling hum that you can feel in your chest. Blurry lights flit across the surface of its largest gems. Are you a phobit? A wave of force pulses out from the crystalline structure. Your body shudders with the impact, even though you hear nothing. Can you speak? The crystals release another single pulse, jolting your body. You get the strong impression that this pulse means yes. This phobit is not like any other you've seen. It may not have the communicative qualities of the speaker, but it is trying to talk to you nonetheless. What is your function? The glow dims slightly, and the blurry lights on the gem's surfaces disappear. You realize they weren't lights at all, but images the phobit was trying to show you. When they reappear, they show a flat, crystalline plane. Then, one by one, shards emerge. They bud and sprout in the shape of the other phobits. As you watch, they continue growing, creating ridges, walkways, stairs. In one corner, you see the speaker flower out of the crystals. In a matter of seconds, this entire region of the Ascension has taken shape in the image before you. This phobit built it all. I'm looking for the magmatic analyte. You seen it? The large crystal pulses once. An image appears of a human figure walking through the Ascension into a cave. The details are too fuzzy to make out who it is, but presumably he has the analyte. After a while, he leaves the cave. The images move quickly then, crystals growing and shrinking as time passes. Suddenly, the entire image shakes and the cave entrance is gone. When the cave entrance closes, it doesn't look like a simple collapse. Crystals grow up from the ground as if they're intentionally blocking the way inside. You closed the cave, didn't you? Can you open it? The light within the crystals freezes in place, and the humming of the phobit ceases. It stays motionless for some time. Finally, you feel the single pulse of force through your body. Yes.
I'm ready to become even more heroic.
I should really level him up, so he stops saying that. You feel the ground rumble under your feet. After a few moments, the vibrations cease, and the phobit shows you an image of the cave. The crystals that blocked the entrance are gone. Why did the cave close? The violet light dims for a moment, and an ominous pulse shudders through your body. An image appears of some kind of multi-legged, clawed creature you've never seen before. Show me the creature in the cave again. It's real. You're gonna have to fight it, and it's gonna be like a whole big deal. You feel 2 quick pulses through your body, then the crystal structure goes still. I have to say, that's one of the more helpful crystals I've encountered.
Is there more danger? So be it.
Should we increase edge? I always like increasing edge. Or we could do ability. Let's do edge. Edge is always good.
I'm way better than I was before.
Alright. I don't know why oh, there's the cave. That would be why I think the cave is over there. Oh, can it extend this bridge?
Absolutely.
Is that a thing it can do? Can I ask it to do that? Oh, I can interact with these ones. Maybe they'll do it. And then this just disappears. God damn it. Oh, there we go.
In an instant.
Yes. Yes.
I assume this will put a staircase here. Yeah, there we go. Alright, well, before we step into this cave and meet our demise at the hand of some sort of multi-legged clawed creature, I'm going to end the stream here. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope that if you did enjoy, you will come back and watch some more. I stream from Thursdays to Sundays. I've got a Twitter account and a YouTube account, so if you would like to catch those streams live, both of those, I will post a notification to both of those accounts before I go live, 5 minutes before I go live. So if you want to catch the streams live, subscribing to those is a good way of keeping up to date. I think that's all I had to say, so thank you again for watching, and have a fantastic day.